I thought for a long time about making a YouTube channel. It was a difficult decision because even though I'm using an alias and not showing my face, there's still a chance I could be doxxed at some point and exposed to my current employer, to people in my industry, and to friends who don't know I hold these beliefs. And that's really scary. But I don't feel like I can just sit here and watch what's going on in the world and not say something. And I know that my voice is just one of many, but I feel that I have to add my voice to the choir, to do whatever I can to make a statement to people that not all women have to be feminists, and that you don't have to be a leftist to be a good person. To be another voice in the free speech movement and the fight against collectivist ideologies. So let me give you a little bit of an introduction to myself and to what I intend for this channel. In other videos, I'll detail more specifically why I'm not a feminist anymore and why I left the left. But for now, here are the basics. I am a former hardcore third-wave feminist. I was never a hardcore social justice warrior, but I was very into social justice, and I was very much on the left. I'm currently closest to a classical liberal, though I and my views don't fit neatly into boxes. I'm a firm believer in the sanctity of free speech and big on personal responsibility. While I'm not a feminist anymore, Camille Paglia has been and continues to be a huge influence on me. I'm narrative busting in more ways than just being a woman, and these are the ways that I feel like my voice can potentially contribute. I don't like identity politics, but I feel like using identity politics against leftists, SJWs, cultural Marxists, and postmodernists helps us to destroy their narrative. I'm Latina, though this doesn't really count as social justice types because I'm half Eastern European, and I don't look Latina. Much like Chris Reagan, I am the covert Hispanic. Also, I have clinical anxiety, and the way that the mainstream talks about mental health and the way particularly that the regressive left talks about mental health, I find to be a really big problem and at times utterly disgusting. I am bisexual, and LGBTQ+, etc. are supposed to be on the left. I am also in an open relationship and have been for 3 years. Even some of the most open-minded people I see in the skeptic community that I didn't think were that socially conservative still are not okay with open relationships, or they really don't understand them, and they haven't really taken any time to try to understand them and speak about them in a nuanced way. So that's something I feel I can speak to from a non-social justice perspective. The place where I live, the non-monogamous community, is extremely ideologically to the left, which led to me creating an alternate OkCupid profile where I declared my former feminist, current classical liberal status, and that's been an interesting adventure that I will elaborate on in a future video. One of the main reasons why I am not putting my face out there is that I work in the publishing industry. And the publishing industry, for those of you that are unaware, is incredibly, incredibly to the left. I'm not going to say total, but there's a lot of ideological conformity. I'm looking to transition out of the publishing industry, partly because I'm ready for a new challenge, but also because it's incredibly demoralizing and tiring to read the industry news and industry Twitter and see the hysteria, virtue signaling, and aforementioned ideological conformity. And the diversity issue never goes away, and I can't see it ever going away. But while I'm still in the publishing industry, I feel like I can give some dispatches from the inside. In terms of what I intend for this channel more broadly, I feel like there are plenty of people covering the minute-to-minute news. I'm more interested in putting stories together in a framework. there are plenty of articles that I have saved recently and that I've saved from years ago when I was a hardcore feminist, and I want to put all those together to show patterns. I'm interested in more academic topics than I think a lot of the people in this so-called community. I'm very interested in talking about economics and bringing in historical perspectives. The first big project I'll try to tackle is a series on modern feminist utopian thought. I read a particular book of essays about visions of feminist utopias, and I thought it was particularly illuminating. I read it side by side with a book on the origins of the original progressive movement, which I will also do a series on because I feel like a lot of younger people today think these ideas are new when these are really old ideas, and even some of the ideas being pushed by the hard right on immigration are ideas that have been discussed before, and a lot of them came from the original progressives. Once I've done those, I'd like to show how those ideas manifest themselves today and lead to people doing or saying certain things. That being said, I'm really not here to educate people. I hate that term and that attitude, which I see all the time from the leftists and SJWs. I'd like to try to teach you something you maybe didn't know, but you're obviously free to question my sources and my interpretations. I don't have any illusions that I have all the answers and that my way of looking at things is the only way, or that what I'm going to say is going to cover everything. I would love for these videos to spark conversation because I really don't have a lot of people to have open discussions with. I will make anti-SJW content and anti-feminist content, but I'm not going to do it by just saying, look how stupid this thing is because they're stupid. I want to make insightful commentary even if I am making fun of something, but I do hope I can bring some humor to this channel. I know it doesn't sound like it from this particular video because I'm really trying to lay out my intentions, but my rants do make my boyfriend laugh quite a lot, so I will have rant videos if something really sticks in my craw. And I will also make some essentially storytime videos, for lack of a better term, about encounters with my coworkers or other friends who are incredibly progressive and my usually frustrating attempts to engage them, and about how I've been able to have somewhat productive conversations with one friend who is willing to talk to me about feminist topics and the kind of content I think can be useful to share when attempting to reach across the divide, so to speak. Finally, let me explain my channel name. I love Lewis Carroll's novel Through the Looking Glass and what Alice found there. Two major characters in the novel are the White Queen and the Red Queen, not to be confused with the Queen of Hearts. So two names I thought of were the White, in parentheses, passing, Queen, and the Red, in parentheses, pilled, Queen. But I felt those names played too much into identity politics and would give my channel a narrow focus. Also, I don't feel like I'm quite sorted enough, as Jordan Peterson would say, to call myself a queen. For those who don't know, the novel is structured around a chess game, and I know quite a lot about chess, as my dad taught me about it from the time I was young. So I thought about the fact that even though each player starts with a queen, if a lowly pawn, so to speak, can reach the other side of the chessboard, the 8th square, that pawn can become a queen. And in the novel, the Red Queen says to Alice, "You can be the White Queen's pawn. You're in the 2nd square to begin with. When you get to the 8th square, you'll be a queen." It's honestly been really eye-opening to take this journey so far. Part of me wishes that I had been documenting it along the way. But honestly, I started 3 years ago with a mere desire to educate myself, and I had no idea that was going to lead to a complete and total ideological shift. I feel like I'm on a journey to that 8th square, and I thought I'd make this channel in case anyone wants to follow along. Thank you for watching and listening, and stay tuned for more videos.